Hello, Internet, and welcome to the Free-to-Play cast brought to you by MMOBomb.com, your home for all things free-to-play related. I am your host, Mike Byrne, aka Magic Man. This is episode 313. We're recording on, September 27th. You're watching it on the 27th, and we've got a bunch of first looks to go through. A kind of what the fuck moment, and yeah, we totally saw this coming when it originally came, and we saw it coming before then, and we see it coming down the road, and yeah, it's totally predictable what's happening there. Joining me to go over all of it, Mr. Jason Winter. How are you, sir?
Doing great, and I can't wait to talk about that Desperate Battle Royale spin-off that nobody's playing.
We've got a couple of them to talk about, actually. Also on the line to chat about them is Quinlan Bowers. What's up, Q?
I'm sitting here being very antsy, waiting for a package to show up. So,
Ooh, are we getting something exciting?
yes, we are.
What are we getting? Is it okay to talk about on the cast?
Yeah.
What's our rating? Are we?
You know, people order weird shit sometimes. I just want to make sure.
Not judging.
So obviously we know I don't have great internet here, streaming and
Right.
shit as a
You
bitch.
ordered
I
some internet?
I also don't have
Here's a-
cable.
here's a
I
box
also
of
don't have
internet.
real cable. Sort of. I basically bought that 10 terabyte hard drive and shipped it
Oh,
to
yeah.
a friend. He's shipping it back with 8 terabytes worth of entertainment. So
Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet.
I'm very excited.
All the
because
movies you can legally download.
Right.
I didn't
Here's
say how we got it.
here's a box of bandwidth. Enjoy.
Have you seen the IT crowd where where they're like, "This is the internet," and it's just a
Right.
little black box. This
All right, let's slide over, get started with the news. It has been a busy week. So we had free-to-play weekly on Monday. We had a first look Tuesday, a first look Wednesday, a first look Thursday. We have the free-to-play cast going up today. Next week we have Destiny coming out free-to-play on Tuesday, October 1st. Jason, we actually got to talk about that one a little bit because in my thinking, I don't know how how to do this first look appropriately, because my account is, has all the expansions and everything, so I don't know if I should create another account and do just the free version. We'll have to talk about it. Maybe we can duo this up a little bit where you do a little bit of the free stuff and then I'll patch in video of some of the not free stuff. Well, we got to figure something out.
Sure.
I think going just on my Destiny account is not the way to go, because it's not going to be representative of what a truly free-to-play, I didn't spend a dime player is going to get out of Destiny's launch. And that's what we try to do with the first looks.
The problem is I did claim Destiny 2 for free when they had it offered up like last Christmas, but I haven't played it. So
Right, you didn't play it.
might
You
actually
didn't
have it,
You didn't buy
but-
any expansions or anything
Right.
like that. So you'll be doing, the Year of Light, or what the hell's their free
I
thing
have,
called?
don't ask me. I don't know
Some
this shit.
light something. I don't know. The light.
New Light is what the free-to-play thing is.
Is that what it's called?
Stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
That's-
Shadow Keep is the expansion that comes out on the
Right,
same
right.
day.
that's a terrible name, New Light.
Yeah.
It's just
Well, I mean, it kind of goes with, the Guardians being light and all that.
We shouldn't call it
Anyway.
something like every other free-to-play thing.
Right.
that is true, and
Well,
it's just not Warface.
To be fair, they did have an expansion called Forsaken. So they have used their share of generic ass titles. But anyway, that'll be next week. We still have some other games that we're considering first looks on. I think we're gonna skip one for shit. I don't even remember the name of it. It was
Demon game.
Stalker Online.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh yeah.
I think we're gonna skip that one. It really was not good. Would have made a very boring video. Jason, you're still looking at that Demon President MOBA thing.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, so-
got less players than the games we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Demons are crazy.
Yeah. So we may have some. I think that's it. Yeah. So we may have some additional first looks next week. We'll definitely have Destiny at some point next week, probably Wednesday, Thursday-ish, since it comes out Tuesday. But this was a very, very busy week for first looks, so let's talk about them. If you haven't watched them, please go do so. They're on MMO Bomb's YouTube channel, and of course, you can find them on our website. I think 2 out of 3 of them, or maybe all 3 of them, because they came out so fast, are right in our feature bar, so you can get them right on our homepage. First, let's talk about one I did, Mythgard. This is a online CCG. You are able to access this for free right now on Steam. Yeah, I mean, that's it. It's a CCG. It's another CCG. I did appreciate a few things about it, and we'll get into those in just a moment here. There are a couple unique little, oh, that's neat. Oh, I've never seen that done before. But the game, Jason, even in its tutorial, when it's giving you questions to kind of set up the tutorial for you, it makes no apologies for taking things from Magic the Gathering and taking things from Hearthstone. In fact, it asks you your comfort level with each of those two exact games to decide what it's going to show you, presumably in the tutorial. You can't go back into it, so I don't know if the tutorial's any different if you select, like, no, I've never played any of these. But it does ask you that right off the bat. Jason, what were your initial thoughts here, being the kind of card game guy and background that you come from here?
I thought it looked competent.
I think that's a compliment from you, actually.
Well,
So,
I mean, it didn't look like total crap, and I played some games that are total crap. But a lot of the ones I did play, a lot of the games I did play in the '90s were, decent enough, but were they ever going to go anywhere? Not as likely, and that's kind of where I put this one as well. It's looks all right, but if you want to play it, there are probably a dozen other games out there that do something similar, and I don't necessarily know this one's got some fancy thread or something about it that you really would want to play it over something else.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I kind of agree with that, Jason. I think if you already have an online CCG, there's not enough here to move over. Maybe you check it out just to see if it's neat and go back to your favorite CCG and put in the forums what was neat and can you get it in your game at some point. But I don't think there's enough to migrate if you already have one. If you are into CCGs but you don't necessarily play a lot of Hearthstone or Magic the Gathering Arena, which just launched officially, left open beta and is now officially launched. If you're not playing anything like those but you do like CCGs, this one I felt like is worth your time at least checking out. Q, what did you think?
So I'm more of a CCG dabbler anyway. So while I was sitting there watching it, I was basically like, yeah, I'd probably hop into that for a little while, at least to do any of the solo stuff or the tutorial stuff where, before it starts actually getting competitive.
Plenty of modes. I'll give it that. There are plenty of modes, whether you want a PvE or PvP.
Yeah, and then at some point, I'd probably just do what I usually do and forget that it exists and do something else.
So some of the core mechanics that are a little bit different that you might want to know about, it uses kind of like a Hearthstone interface. It's very, very Hearthstone looking, except you actually place your minions on the board in certain lanes, and then there's attacking and defending rules based on the position or the lane those minions are in, and certain keywords will let you bypass a blocker that's right in front of you or adjacent to you. Again, stuff we've seen in other games, but this one does. There's so many freaking keywords in this game. There seemed like an awful lot of keywords. I don't know, I played through all of Chapter 1 on the PvE. I did all of the puzzles. I did some of the PvP ranked constructed. I did some of the PvP arena kind of draft-esque gameplay. And so that was, I probably put over the course of 3 days, maybe 5 or 6 hours into the game. Did quite a bit of games, and I still found myself mousing over cards to refresh my memory on what that frickin' keyword meant, because there were just so many of them. And I can appreciate not wanting to use Magic the Gathering's keywords, but could we please just make haste? Please.
Or at least charge
They don't have trademarks over all of them, right? I understand why you don't say tap. I get it.
They do have legal stuff for that.
They do. I get why they stay away from the word tap. Even Final Fantasy, the trading card game, uses the word dull. Other games use exhaust and all kinds of things like that. I get it, but they don't own haste. Come on. Stop making up new words for the same damn thing. Also, your mana generation is a little bit different. Instead of the Hearthstone, you get 1 per turn. You do have the ability to get 1 per turn, but there may be turns that you don't want to get 1 because the way you generate your resources is you burn a card. set it on fire. It goes back into your deck in a random spot anywhere but the top card, and you will receive 1 mana and 1 gem of the corresponding color that the card was, and the costs are X number of mana, and you have to use 2 red gems. Well, if you haven't burnt 2 red cards yet, even if you have 2 mana, you're not going to be able to play that red card. So it was kind of unique. Again, I'm familiar with, discarding cards to generate crystal points and play them from Final Fantasy, so this was kind of unique, or not unique, but familiar to me. I did enjoy the game, and I think I enjoyed it more than I thought. It's still installed. I haven't played it since the first look, but that's because we had like 15 other first looks to do. I can see myself going back and checking this out. The story was, whatever. Nothing grand in Chapter 1. It is available on iOS and Android, and it is a cross-account as long as you link everything, but you won't see it on consoles, at least not yet. Overall, Jason, it's not quite at the Magic the Gathering or the Hearthstone level for me, but I think it kind of sneaks in there at number 3 in my book. It kind of beats out all those little ones that we've seen come and go over the last 2 years. Is that a huge compliment that it's number 3? Probably not, because the only people they need to beat are 1 and 2. Everybody else is all in the same bucket. This one just is a little bit better, a little more interesting to me personally. And tons of modes, and I hope they expand the puzzle mode. What's your final take on this one, Jason?
Well, you see, when you say the only things they have to beat are 1 and 2, that's not quite correct. They have to beat everything else you would rather play instead of that as well.
Oh,
or watch
yeah,
on Netflix or whatever.
That's fair, but I was speaking only
sure.
in terms of CCGs.
Yeah, so in that sense, I mean, I see it and think, there are other CCGs and other games in general I'd probably rather play. Again, like I said, it's competent. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not some sort of genius thing that I think is going to, light the world on fire. Although I will say this, I just checked. Of the 3 games we're about to talk about, according to Steam charts, this one has the highest current player count.
What's it at right now?
311.
I'm actually kind of impressed by that. What are the reviews looking like? They were mixed back when I did the first look.
That's on the actual Steam page. Why would I know that?
Are they still mixed?
Why would I care about that? Steam, come up, Steam. There you go. It is very positive.
Oh, wow. Nice comeback on that
86%.
one. Yeah, nice job. Yeah, and I can agree with that. There's nothing wrong with it. And I know that sounds like a backhanded compliment, but it's not. There's, we've seen card games where we're just like, oh my God, why even do this? But this one, I think, may find its audience, and I may be part of that audience. Q, I think this on the mobile might be right up your alley. Is that a possibility? Maybe not on the PC, but on your phone, on the bus, or wherever?
Possibly. Like I said, I like things I can dabble in, and with CCGs, I'm more of a dabbler than anything else. It's not like I'm going to get hardcore and competitive or any of that shit anyway. So, as a mobile thing, that's great.
Yeah. And it has everything you would expect. Multiple modes, PvE, PvP. You can destroy duplicate cards to gather essence and create cards that you don't have, or you can buy packs and open them. You get packs as rewards for different things. Everything you think would be there is there. It runs smoothly. It's got some interesting little tweaks on existing stuff. I think there's enough there that this isn't going to be like some of those other games we did first looks for a year ago, Jason, and I can't even remember their name right now. I think Mythgard's going to find a nice little home in the CCG community. And it may be just a little home, but it's going to find a nice little home. Am I nuts?
No, I don't think so.
I think it was solid enough.
Yeah.
All right, on to not so solid. Jason, next first look we did this week was PlanetSide Arena. For those of you that have watched it, we're going to be doing an edit to this video here due to a recording malfunction. Neither Jason nor I realized the screen was shifted in his OBS, so we'll be putting up a new one just in the interest of displaying the game to its full potential. But honestly, I think that's just going to be a quality of video increase, not an increase in anybody's desire to play this. Jason, walk us through this one first and give us your initial impressions, and Q and I'll chime in.
I hope it's still online by the time I'm doing my, my first look. But yeah, I mean, we gave you the basic impression of it last night. It's supposed to be theoretically 300 players in a battle royale, 12 teams of 25 or 25 teams of 12. So giant squads, kind of like what you'd see in PlanetSide, and it's supposed to have that kind of PlanetSide aesthetic with the environment and the weapons and the vehicles and so forth. And for honestly, for when playing it, being someone who played a lot of PlanetSide 2, I thought it was rather enjoyable. When I got into last Saturday, they had a promotion where they were giving away the super pack, the $50 pack, and they actually got a full 300 people to log in and to play the game at that point. And I was in a 300-person battle. Went around with my squad. You go around, you find stuff to upgrade your weapons and your armor and your gear and so forth. So kind of battle royale-like in that sense. Got your whole team to do that. You can even upgrade your weapons at terminals. You can respawn your players who have died. So it's got all sorts of stuff going on, and it was kind of fun to be out there with 300 people going in this little area. And typical battle royale, it closes in until there's just a little area left and it's the last team standing. Now, how does that compare to the reality?
Here we go. Yes.
As I said, remember I said Mythgard had 300 people online. That would be enough for a full PlanetSide 2 battle royale, PlanetSide Arena battle royale.
Yep.
Problem is, PlanetSide Arena at the moment has only about 200 players online, which is going to be spread out over different servers.
Yeah, I was going to say, you could have fooled me. I played a couple of matches right before we did the cast when I was just kind of looking at Jason's video and the game to see, what was the mistake on the recording there. And I'm amazed the number's 200. I had 2 matches that were 24 people, 2 squads of 12. Both matches.
Yeah,
which makes it really easy to get that one quest placed in the top 3 or top 9 3 times, because even if you lose, you're second. So
yeah, I mean, it peaked at about 1,500 when it first launched, and it's basically been downhill from there. In fact, looking at that, when I did that thing on Saturday, it was around 1,000, and it has not gotten over like 800 since. So, and again, like I said, that's on both European and American servers.
And after they decided to make it free.
And they used to have, actually, they had the 3-person teams, 50 teams of 3 was another option. They canceled, they took that out of the game so we could focus better on the squad play, which really was code for, we didn't have enough people doing that. We don't need to split our player base any further.
Yeah. Yeah, and apparently, I think if you go by their Twitter, right, and the vocal minority may be the case here, but if you look at their Twitter, not many people that actually liked the game or are interested in the game were happy that they kept squad and removed teams instead of the other way around. They wanted teams to stay, which honestly, I've got to say, kind of makes more sense. It's the smaller of the two anyway. It's easier to make squads of 3, and you have 150 players cap instead of 300 cap. The map just felt so empty. And I can imagine, Jason, when you played at 300 people, that might be a little empty at first and then chaotic.
That's exactly how it was. I think we had like 3 teams going at it during the final battle where I died. So.
Yeah, you get like 2 minutes to run around with nobody around you and upgrade your shields and your jetpack and your weapons and such. But then, hey, the ring starts closing the first time, and all of a sudden everybody's in combat. I could see in my mind's eye the appeal here, but it does not play like that. With 2 squads of 24, you play 10 to 15 minutes before you see anyone in most cases, because everybody just stays on the outside of the storm, upgrades themselves all the way to legendaries across all of their equipment, gets the tanks as soon as they spawn, and then the circle becomes so small that, oh my god, there's another player, and it doesn't have my team's icon above it. Wow, should I shoot it? I don't know what to do. Q, I know, again, right off the bat, this isn't your type of game, but coming from a more objective standpoint, your opinions on it as a battle royale and its execution.
Seriously, I like watching Jason play, and this is what I ended up doing. I sat there and I watched, trying to be very, very patient, and I'm like, okay, well, he's collecting items, he's doing stuff. Oh, there's a chest over there. Okay, there's no people. There's just no people. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to skip forward a little bit and see. and he's still just finding chests and okay, skip forward. And finally I'm just sitting there going skip. I never actually saw anything fired.
Yeah.
I'm sure it must have happened.
In the game, I do shoot my gun a few times.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, Jason, it's like a 30-minute first look or whatever, typical length, 20 to 30 minutes. And the only gunfire that isn't A, somebody testing a weapon they picked up on your team, or B, accidentally bumping your left mouse button while running. All that, the actual gunfire happens in the last 2.5 minutes.
My favorite was where I caught him when he was in one of the vehicles and he bumped into something or whatever. And thought for just a brief second that something had happened.
Did somebody fire on us? No, the driver wrecked us into a big-ass rock. My favorite part of the first look when Jason, you pick up your first power weapon, and I guess you hadn't gotten one in any previous games yet. You're like, what the hell is this? And it's like a grenade launcher is what it looks like. And Jason's like, I want to see what this does. So he fires, he just, boof, and the grenade goes flying. And all of a sudden, when that sound happens, you see both of his teammates, like, turn. Like, oh my God, are we under fire? I gotta say, Jason, the game was just boring as shit to me. I'm not a huge Battle Royale guy anyway, but God, I could not play this. And I gotta say, my final opinion on this is what a disaster. What a disaster. To me, it is boring, and more importantly, it isn't what the people that like PlanetSide even ever wanted, and it certainly isn't good enough to pull anybody in that isn't already a PlanetSide fan. They wanted a PlanetSide 3, or they don't mind if you're going to do this, but make it a mode in the frickin' PlanetSide 2 game, especially now that you don't even have the excuse of we're charging for that. Yeah. You made it free. It really should be inside PlanetSide 2. This isn't what non-PlanetSide fans wanted, because we're not even looking in that direction. And Jason, as a former pretty big PlanetSide 2 player, I sure as hell know and would guess that even if this game was done well, this isn't what you wanted to see for your IP.
They tried to push that like 5 years ago. They wanted to have like an esports thing around PlanetSide and have like teams in a more arena-like setting. They've wanted this for a while, and nobody else does. Only Daybreak wants it. But yeah, good point. Can you imagine if they were still charging for this game?
Oh,
they'd have like 1/10 the players.
Yeah, I gotta say this one's not gonna work out for Daybreak. I don't think. No. Even the people that like it and are interested in it don't really like it. I mean, I think they're going to be easily grabbed away by something else. Maybe PlanetSide 2. Well, that was an interesting diversion. Let me just go back into PlanetSide 2. I don't know who the audience was for this one.
It was Battle Royale. They wanted, but which was crazy. Like I said, they want a piece of the Battle Royale audience, but they kind of already have that. They have H1Z1. So it's like, why would you even do that?
Yeah, it's bizarre, Q. Really bizarre.
I don't know what they were thinking.
It was honestly probably trying to get some quick money from the box sales, but then they decided that's not going to work. I really think like no more than this came out 8 days ago. I bet 9 days ago was when they decided to go free to play on it. I really think this was a very, very late decision.
Yeah, normally for that type of stuff, by the way, particularly from Daybreak, we get a presser. Ahead of time. Even if it's under embargo and we're not allowed to say anything till a certain date, we normally would have a presser 2 or 3 days ahead of launch if they were making that type of... We didn't know until we saw the tweet that it was live, that the game was live, and it also included in that tweet that it was free to play. And all of us started scrambling to check the Steam, to check the PlanetSide Arena website, to check the forums, to see if this was like early access was free, so that you like a little demo maybe, come into early access, play, and if you want to buy it, launches on X day, which we thought would have been shitty, but it was just weird to see free to play out of nowhere. So I tend to agree with you, Jason. This kind of was maybe a fly by the seat of your pants moment for PlanetSide Arena. I feel bad because I know the team, is passionate and dedicated behind making it, but this isn't going to end well, I don't think.
I almost wonder if they are, because I almost wonder if it's a sense that someone at high up said we have to do this, and the PlanetSide devs were like, all right, fine, whatever. So I I do question a little bit the passion and dedication. I wonder if it was on that level. Now they do have a roadmap where they do have things that they have planned on. It's going to be more than a battle royale. It's going to have all sorts of other different modes and so on.
Right, and their initial
If it lasts
roadmap had it released 3 different times already. So
Yeah,
let's hold a
exactly.
lot of faith for that new roadmap.
Yeah.
All right, finishing up, we've got one more Battle Royale. I did the first look for this one, Ashes of Creation Apocalypse. Now, for those of you watching that have either backed or have been following Ashes of Creation, the MMORPG, this is not it. This is not a replacement. This is not, they scrapped that and did a Battle Royale instead. Ashes of Creation Apocalypse, which I think, in the interest of brevity, we can all just refer to as Apocalypse for the duration of the free-to-play cast here, is a standalone free-to-play battle royale available on Steam in early access right now, so you can go and check it out. The Ashes of Creation MMORPG still isn't slated to come out until sometime next year, 2020. And at least initially, probably won't be covered on MMO Bomb because it's not slated to be free to play. It's not going to have a box fee, but they are planning a subscription for it. So take that for what it's worth. And I think we should come back to that in a minute because I think this misses the mark in a totally different way than PlanetSide Arena misses the mark. From a gameplay perspective, Jason, this is exactly what you've been kind of going, why has nobody really done this? Why has nobody really made a fantasy or melee-based battle royale? Swords, boards, crossbows, bow and arrows, magic spells, that type of thing. This absolutely is exactly that. As far as every other thing goes, it's a battle royale. Ring closes, you dive in, you fly to where you want. There's cosmetic weapon skins, cosmetic skins for your gear. There's different mounts that you can fly in on, a la gliders in Fortnite. Everything like that is exactly the same as every other battle royale you've ever played, but it's in a high fantasy setting. So, Jason, you've been asking for somebody to do this, so I'm really interested, before I give my opinions, having played it quite a bit, actually, your opinions of, hey, somebody actually did what you wanted them to do. Granted, I know there have been 1 or 2 before this, but arguably they never got any traction. This one, with the Ashes of Creation team behind it, Intrepid Studios, I think has a built-in traction. Now, whether it's going to turn out to be good traction or bad traction, we'll see. But what'd you think, Jason? Did they execute what you were looking for here?
I think watching the video, I kind of agreed with you in that I liked the concept of it. I liked everything. I even liked how it looked. I thought it was a very nice looking world. I don't know why that's what the
I thought so
graphics
too.
and the appeal of it and the aesthetic just seemed to really work for me. I thought it looked really nice.
I'm glad you said that because there's a lot of people that say it looks like shit. And I don't think it looks like shit. I don't think it's top tier, but I think it's very pretty.
I'm not talking necessarily about the graphic quality, just sort of like the fact of how the buildings are laid out. I like that tower you went through, that was really nicely detailed and so forth.
Oh yeah, I said the same thing, that I love the aesthetic, not just the quality.
Yeah. But yeah, I sort of feel like it's just the execution of it. I agree with what you said. It's like it just doesn't feel right. Just by watching it, it doesn't feel as solid as I'd like it to do. And I think another issue is that it almost seems a little too fast. Like you explained that, you just dive in, you fire off all your magic spells, and you swing your weapon a bunch of times, and that's battle right there. And granted, if you're going to do that's probably why they haven't done a melee-focused battle royale for a long time, because everyone is supposed to have this twitchy kind of first-person shooter kind of feel to it, where you just bab quick as you can. And I feel like it might be okay if it's slowed down a little bit, if there's a little reason for blocking or parrying, even something on par with like Skyrim level combat, where at least you're going to block a little bit there. You're gonna dodge a little to the side and so forth, instead of just wading in with everything. Now they probably won't do that because they're using the same engine as the MMO, which means that if they did it for that, they probably have to do it for the others. So I like the idea, but I'm a little skeptical as to whether it's going to actually execute and turn into something that I would really want to play.
What about you, Q?
Well, I mean, obviously it's not the genre that I would be into. I did think it looked nice, like just sitting there and watching it. And at least watching your video, something happened within the first few minutes and somebody died.
Me.
Well, yeah, it was you. But
Well, it had the same number of players. It had like 35 people in his match, so about the same number of players.
Right.
But he died multiple times. Like
I'm saying it wasn't supposed to be 300.
Shit was happening. So at least there was that versus the
I didn't
you know.
realize, actually. So there's three. I do 3 matches on the first look. The first 2 are really, really quick, so I just kind of talk through some other features of the game while you can just watch that gameplay. Bad luck, the typical Fortnite shit. 2 people spawn, they fly down to the same area. One finds a chest, the other one doesn't, and that was my luck. I got hit in the face. The last match, I make it, I think, to like 13, top 13, 12, something like that. And I didn't even notice until I went and did the audio for the first look, because I did it a bit differently. I recorded all the gameplay and then talked over it, because there was a lot of background stuff I wanted to get into the first look, like the whole MMORPG versus Battle Royale thing. And I would have been losing my train of thought if I tried to do that while playing the game. I didn't realize till I was doing that, laying down some sweet audio on top of the video, that when I die in that final round and take like 12th or 13th, I do take that other bastard with me. If you go watch, both of us die there.
I didn't notice that.
I didn't either until I watched it. I was like, yeah, go me, son of a bitch. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead, Q. So there was more action. I'll give you that.
I mean, that's pretty much it. It's another battle royale, so I have no interest in actually playing it. And generally, like, if I'm going to sit and watch other people play something, it's probably going to be a MOBA or something, which, there's a little bit more switching back and forth and things going on anyway. So,
let's take a look here.
He's got to prove it now.
No, no. I'm looking at, okay, that's what I thought they were. I didn't want to misquote what I was about to say. So with a little over 200 reviews, this one is mostly negative. So the exact opposite of Mythgard. A lot of that comes from a few very specific reasons. One, the performance of the game is not quite there. And a lot of people do complain about that. It does fire up some GPUs, man. Even some high-end GPUs, like on my rig, and if you look at some of the reviews in Steam, there are some GPUs that are putting in some work on this, and there really isn't a good reason why they should be having to put in that type of work. It is a pretty game, but it ain't that pretty. So that's been a complaint. Server stability being another big complaint, which it is. Jason, you're redoing the PlanetSide one. I actually had to redo this one too, because I spent 40 minutes recording a first look, and then I had to scrap it all because the servers just like shit themselves to the point that they were flashing global messages that they were trying to work on it. So I was like, well, that's scrap all this. We'll do it again tomorrow. So that's a problem. Here's the other problem. In my estimation, and I said this in the first look, Jason, I think this is what you were referencing earlier, the combat feels empty. It really does. The best way I could explain it in the first look, and Jason alluded to it, was if Jason and I run into each other on the map, whoever slams all of their magic spells and swings whatever weapon they have the fastest is probably going to win. That's just it. You can parry, you can block, but the combat is so fast that there's really no benefit to it. Parrying, arguably, dodge rolls, that type of things out of AoE. Okay, fine, I'll give you that. But you don't have time to block. It's swing, 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 dead. And it doesn't even have impact. Like, all the weapons feel the same. A two-handed great axe and a sword, they basically have the same type of combat. Yeah, sure, numerically in the background, they're probably doing different numbers of damages. The great axes, I think, are way overpowered. You walk up behind somebody, they're dead. Forget it. It's not even going to be a challenge. But it feels empty. There isn't this weight to it that melee combat needs. In the end of the day, there is a lot that I like about this game, but it's not liking the stuff that's there now. It's liking what I think they could do with it, what I think they're going to do with it, where I think they're going to improve. I think it's an okay game at best now. It is something that I will check out. It does, I will give it this, Jason, has me a little bit more interested in the MMORPG, but that's because I wasn't a backer or anything for Ashes of Creation, which is the next and final big can of worms. Mm-hmm. This pissed off the Ashes of Creation followers and backers, and a lot of those negative reviews are exactly about that, and I can't blame them one bit, Jason.
But it doesn't take away from any of our resources, and it actually helps us. Yeah, okay, sure. That's what they said about Landmark, too.
Yeah, there was actually an interview that I watched in preparation for the first look where one of the team, they asked during a stream that somebody was doing with the devs, somebody in their chat asked, how much is this pulled away from the MMO? And so the host of the stream, and I apologize to whoever it was, I can't remember the name. I think it might have been Lazy Peon, but don't quote me on that. I think it might have been, though. He asked the question, and the dev's reply was, well, about a week. And that's being generous, that it took a week away from the MMORPG, because everything in the game that we're developing we can use in the MMORPG. All the skins, all the designs, all the weapons, all the server architecture information that we're going to get, the server stability information that we're going to get, all of this stuff can be applied into the MMORPG. Really, the only thing that was additional development was the Storm, because they can't really use that anywhere in the MMORPG. Take that for, like you said, Jason. Yeah, okay, fine, sure, whatever, a week. I do think it's neat that any cosmetics you unlock in Apocalypse, if you have your account linked for the MMO, you get those in there as well. I think that's kind of a neat feature, but this is not what people backed Ashes of Creation 4Q. And whether you see it as a cash grab, whether you see it as exactly what they're saying it is, and it's the landmark for EverQuest Next, except, for Ashes of Creation. If you take them at face value, this isn't what the fans and the followers and the backers wanted to see. And quite frankly, I think they have every right to be pissed.
Well, I mean, even if it only took away a week, that's still a week it took away from development of a game that people already invested in.
You're right. I mean, you're right.
It seems like a small amount in the general lifespan of game development, but it's still an extra week.
Yeah.
And because of the way games are made, that week that they took out could impact it later on to where it ends up being, accumulatively much more than a week at the end. So I can understand why people would be upset about it. Plus, they want the game they put the money in for, not some other rando thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's a point, too, that she brings up is, okay, it took a week to get this all developed. Are you done working on it now, or are you still devoting resources to it to fix the map, as you say, to get the servers running and so forth? So how much more is it going to take?
I think my camera is frozen, and I'm not sure why.
Oh, yeah, so you are.
It is.
At least your shirt's not changing color.
Yeah, well, I'll address that in a moment. When we get down to, let's see, where is it? There we go. Nope, still locked.
Nope.
Still frozen. What is going on here?
The face you're making too is just
right? Yeah, I'm totally derped. Totally derped. All right. Well, yeah, this one, I am interested in it, but I can absolutely see why people are pissed off. And Q, to your point, if the answer to the question, how much time did this take away from the MMO, wasn't none, people were going to be pissed. And if they said none, nobody was going to believe them. So they were screwed either way. All right, moving on. Jason, what the hell is Project C?
So Project C, it's going to be innovative and wonderful and everything. It's going to change how people perceive open-world online games.
This sounds heavy. Tell us about it.
I have no freaking clue. There's not much information on the site.
Well, wait a minute. You can buy shit, though.
Are you still there? You're kind of in the background.
Yeah, you can buy shit. I'm trying to fix my camera.
Oh. And they actually did get back to me a little later. They sent me an email a little later to say, hey, we do have more info. We have dev blogs on the site. And it's still a very high-minded vision, that sort of thing. It's going to use, I believe is it using Improbable Spatial OS, I believe?
Yeah,
yes,
and that's why we originally covered it, and I totally forgot about the game. Because
see you again, you're moving.
Yep. When you asked about, hey, well, we've covered this before, I was like, no, we didn't. I go check my email, and I'm like, I have no idea what Project C was. I just saw, hey, a spatial OS project. Jason's been covering spatial OS stuff. Here you go, Jason. And I never read the damn thing. So $150, I could get an early access pack that gets me, what, nothing right now for a game that very little information is available on. And I know they wanted us to correct in the piece, well, there is information available, but it's really like, I read some of it, Jason, and it just felt like Jason and I sitting there talking about what we would put in a game that we were going to make.
Yeah.
What would you want to put in, Jason?
Well, without sounding too cliche, video or it didn't happen. Because they do have like 5 screenshots on the site, and there's no video, there's no like really breakdown of how mechanics are going to work, and I can't imagine wanting to pay $150 for this, especially as that's the only pack if they had like the multiple packs, they do have more than they're planned. They have coming soon.
No prices though.
Yeah, and if those are like the $20 and the $50 pack, whatever, I could see it. But to start off with the $150, I think it's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out.
So it occurred to me, I think, and it's still stupid logic, but I think what they're doing is they want less people to get into the initial closed alpha phase. So they're only offering it to people who are willing to really pony up money to get in. And if they did have like a $20 or something pack, right, that you could get immediately and it gets you into the first phase, that they only want a small amount. I mean, they could have just been like, just go ahead and buy the packs and then you'll get in when you at the appropriate time. But I think maybe that's what they're doing, is they're just trying to kind of gate it so that not so many people are getting in.
Q, I think you should be their PR person.
except that they already have an application process to get into the alpha or the beta or alpha, I guess.
It's alpha, closed alpha phase 1.
Yeah. They have an application process. So if they want to gate it to certain people,
they could have.
That's how they do it. That's what they've been doing. So
right. I don't. That's it. Just kind of occurred to me earlier.
Not gonna lie,
it makes sense.
You had me going for a moment, then I realized they had that as well. Yeah. So I was like, well, what's the?
Not gonna lie, Q. When I first saw it, I was like, is this Project Copernicus? I know
about that.
I know they picked it up. Some people picked it up, but what's gonna happen?
This is very sci-fi-ish and not fantasy.
I'm certainly. Yeah, I took a $100 flyer on EverQuest Landmark only because the name EverQuest was in it. I am certainly not taking a $150 flyer on a game that doesn't even have a title yet. It's just going by Project C, and I don't even know what it's going to be.
I mean, look at something like Arcade. That had a $150 pack too that people bought into, and people knew stuff about Arcade going in.
Yeah, that lawsuit finally got settled, by the way.
Yeah. We talked about that a while back. Yeah.
All right, before we move on to the weekly bombs and everything, this was absolutely inevitable, wasn't it, Q? We've got PUBG Lite, the free-to-play version of PUBG, making its way further west. We saw it in the Far East. Must have done okay, because now we're going to see it in Europe, besides the Belgium and the Netherlands.
For whatever reason.
Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah, because of that. Totally forgot about that.
The whole loot box thing. Q, obviously you're not surprised by this, but so my question is not, are you surprised? My question is it going to be too little too late? Like, PUBG arguably was the big dog that started this massive trend to BR. Yes, there were games before PUBG. I know, I'm not saying it was the first, but it was the first massive Battle Royale hit. But it still had the price tag for so long, and Fortnite swept in, and other ones have swept in the meantime. Is it a little too late, or is the audience there for a PUBG free-to-play version still?
I don't know, because I think most of the people that are interested in playing PUBG just went and bought PUBG. Like the kid, my roommate's kid, he's not a Fortnite fan at all. He bought PUBG, right? So I feel like the people that want to play PUBG are have ponied up the money for it. And as far as like the free, I'm sure people are going to jump in and play around with it and see whatever it is. But the whole light thing pretty much implies that it's not going to have everything that PUBG the purchase, right? So it's not going to be the same game.
Yep.
Like the exact same game as PUBG. So it other than just a minor curiosity.
No word on a Western, as by meaning Western Hemisphere, release as far as North America or anything like that. Presumably, Jason, we'll see that at some point, right? There's no way this doesn't come to the United States.
So here's the reason why I think they mostly are going with the PUBG Lite. And the Lite refers to, in large part, the system requirements, which, as I famously talked about, a while back, when I got original PUBG, real PUBG on my previous computer, not the one I have now, which was pretty well running. It ran everything very well. And PUBG did not run very well at all on it. And we're, to be honest, we're in America. We have generally pretty good computers. Whereas in other regions of the world, it's not so good. They don't have nearly the same level that we have. I remember talking a while back, hearing that World of Tanks, the reason why they were so low spec for a long time is because of a lot of their Eastern European players. They couldn't have like super duper requirements because a lot of people were playing on older computers and laptops and so forth. So I think that's a large reason why PUBG Lite is light, because it has the lower system requirements and it can be played more easily in other regions of the world. Now, again, going with that same notion, here in America, the computing quality is a little better, so it could be questionable as to whether it's going to get over here. Now, you could look at the European expansion and say that's in a lot of areas where they do have a lot better computers, not just whatever the 10-year-old hand-me-downs in wherever, Eastern Europe or so forth. So maybe that still is a bit of a chance that it comes over here, but I wouldn't call it a 100% chance.
Interesting take. Is it too late? Is it too late for PUBG Lite to be, battling Fortnite for the crown or anything like that? I think it's way too late.
I mean, it's where it is. I just don't think it. I agree. I kind of think it doesn't go up anymore necessarily. Well, it goes up because some people are going to be free to play because they want it to be free to play.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's not going to get back to its glory days, which were, let's see, about 1.5 million. Currently, it says Steam charts has it about 350,000. Whereas it peaked at 1.5 million active at a time. So, I mean, free-to-play could do that. It'll be interesting to see how that goes up. Because Steam charts, Steam itself is, very big in Europe, obviously. So it'll be interesting to see how much it goes up once that comes out.
Certainly be interesting. We'll keep an eye on it. And if any of our European friends get their hands on it, definitely drop us a line. Let us know what you think about it. And if we should see it come west or if you think it shouldn't. But let's slide over and do the weekly bombs. Q, you're up.
I'm gonna give an A-bomb to the sun. Look at this shit.
Yeah, well, who needs that sun?
I have got to do something about this.
Technically, the sun is a giant A-bomb.
Yeah, it looks like Q is descending from heaven to give messages to people.
I am not Aziraphale.
Jason, go ahead.
I'm going to give an A-bomb to OBS because I had an issue with it for streams for a while where my mouse cursor was offset from where it was actually appearing. Fixed that for a stream on Sunday, but it might have screwed up my PlanetSide first take, so I got to redo that. So, F you, OBS.
I'm going to give an A-bomb to Secret World Legends Q, another recycled event. Enjoy the Equinox that you've done 90 freaking times already, Secret World fans. And I think, to me, at this point, Secret World Legends is new content or get the fuck out. Close it at this point. I really, yeah.
It hurts me.
That's kind of where I'm at.
It hurts me so much.
I know.
You have no idea how hurt I am.
It actually does have slightly fewer players than PlanetSide Arena. Only 141 right now.
It's literally the community that's holding that game together.
Oh,
sheer willpower.
Oh, absolutely.
And I give them so much credit for it because they come up with all this random shit to do to make things fun for other players while the devs are busy doing Conan or whatever the hell it is they're doing.
Oh, I know about random Secret World shit. Believe me, I know.
From the viewers, CGB Jai says, "Da-bomb to Final Fantasy XIV being the first sub-base game I've ever played, and I don't regret it. The class system is great. The classes are all fun to play. Even though I haven't started crafting, I know it's pretty extensive as well. It's also the first game I've ever felt like I've truly gotten lost in and just enjoyed the environments. Even though my main class, Astrologian, is considered the worst healer, everything feels usable and balanced." I love you. You know my love for Final Fantasy XIV. Welcome to the flock, my child. If you need anything, drop a message on any of the videos. Jason, take the next one.
Calvin Glenn says, funny you mentioned Second Galaxy. I'm playing while I watch your show. And I also recommend it to anyone who likes Eve. I haven't played Eve in years, and now I'm hooked on this new game. But now I wonder what's going to happen when Eve Echoes launches. I'm going to say that SG has first mover advantage, and I think switching might be a hard sell after all the time invested in this game.
Q, did you try this out yet, this mobile one?
I have not yet because of like my brain is Swiss cheese most of the time, and I didn't write down go do this. So
Gotcha. Go ahead, take the next one.
Campfire. Yo, I forgot that PlanetSide Arena is a thing. I did too. I just saw an announcement and then it was a complete silence and not even a recommended video. LFAO.
Oh boy, that's not good. Gotham Duty says, great game when people are there. Presumably talking about PlanetSide Arena, and I think, Jason, you and I kind of feel the same way. It could be interesting, but you don't have people playing it to get to that interesting. Question of the week last week. Does a new MMORPG have to do something brand new to capture your attention? Why or why not? Japan's Freak says, question of the week, yeah, a new MMO kind of has to at least try to do something new. I mean, I played MMOs for a long time. Ultima Online, Dark Age of Camelot, etc. I'll fall asleep if they don't at least try something. I kind of see in it all. P.S. Magicman, please change that damn camera. I did.
And then it froze up on you.
I now have the Logitech 4K Brio. I think the picture looks great. I've stayed in color. Look at that.
Wait,
Look,
is that the same shirt?
It's a blue shirt all the time, baby.
Do you have more than one shirt?
No, just this one. Actually, I have a lot of blue shirts. This is not the shirt that did the same thing 2 shows ago. I just have a lot of blue shirts. I like blue.
With checks?
First look, I was
blue
doing my
check shirts?
PlanetSide 2 shirt.
So yeah, and now it froze. I'm not sure if that was an XSplit thing or a camera thing, so I literally just hooked it up before the cast. Jason, go ahead, take the next one.
Pian Musta says, for a new MMORPG, just steal best parts of every MMORPG and hone down those parts. Wrath of the Lich King combined with Guild Wars 2 and Black Desert Online would be something to be seen. Yeah, just from the copyright lawyers.
Go ahead, Q.
Raggedy, question of the week. No, it doesn't have. If it doesn't have something original, that's cool, but saying a game won't rely on the holy trinity that late game you need is kind of annoying. If your game is solid and doesn't have me going around collecting things, being a gopher over and over, and then I'll stay and play it, I can just resub to WoW if I want to do those things again. The gopher thing is annoying.
Many people are doing exactly that right now. Bits Turn Bite. All a new MMO has to do is be moisty. God, guys. Damn.
This is the new mounted.
It's the new mounted.
Yeah.
What are you doing
What
with
is
us?
wrong with us? We had mounted and now moisty.
Okay, that can kind of go
Can we go back to... You right?
Oh! God.
Go ahead, Jason. You can take the next one.
GG Geezer says, I don't see any point in reinventing the wheel. The MMORPG mechanics of WoW have been honed to near perfection over the years. Oh, yeah, they're perfect. Everybody still loves it. But new MMORPGs can offer unique worlds, different art styles, new stories and characters. I have no interest in the fantasy genre of WoW, but I'm hooked on Star Wars: The Old Republic because, well, it's Star Wars. I don't mind that it's a mechanical clone. Well, yeah, that's basically what a lot of games have done. They're just like, we're going to make WoW, but slap a different skin on it. Which I played Lord of the Rings Online for a long time, and I accepted that, and that's how it was. But if you have the money to shell out for the Star Wars or Lord of the Rings license, maybe you don't need something original. Everyone else, however, there you go.
Go ahead, Q.
CBGJ, question of the week. A new MMO doesn't necessarily have to do anything new. Everyone's definition is different, but all of the game elements are out there. For example, I finally bit the bullet and bought Final Fantasy XIV, and I'm loving the game again.
Same person. I split their comments. Yeah.
The glamour system is great. The dungeoning is enjoyable. The story is interesting. If you take pieces of multiple different MMOs, even if they've been done before, that's all new MMO would need to do to get attention and maybe last long.
And also add a license that's been around for 30 years, because that's what
Well,
all these people
That
are saying.
certainly helps.
And then when you rebuild it, go back and go, hey, you know what we should have looked at when we were building this game?
That certainly
Wow.
helps. Maybe I should have updated and made sure that the drivers for new camera was, because I flickered there. I just saw it. Question of the week this week. I know it won't be free to play, at least at launch. It'll be free to play at some point, I think. But I do want to know everybody's thoughts, since we're talking about Apocalypse, on Ashes of Creation, the MMORPG. Are you watching it? Are you excited for it? Does the Apocalypse Battle Royale make you more or less excited for the MMO? Let us know your comments below. Make sure while you're there, you leave your weekly bomb, da bomb for something good, a bomb for something bad, or your question for the panel, and we'll be sure to put it on next week's show. Until then, Q, where can everybody find you?
Hang it out on Twitter at Quinlan.
Jason.
On Twitter at Winter Informal, streaming twitch.tv/JasonWinter.
I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me personally right there on Twitter at magicman1, but more importantly, while you're there, follow at MMOBomb so we can tweet at you all the latest giveaways, first look videos, free-to-play cast, free-to-play weekly, interviews, news, and so much more. Until next time, gang, stay safe, and we'll see you out on the servers.